is correct, Fluli. Hi everybody. I'm trying to figure out if we need to restart the stream. Am I coming through somewhat stably? Because my connection's lighting up with a bunch of errors right now. Oh, wait, it just jumped back up. It just jumped back up. Maybe we're back. We might be back. I hope we're back. I'm gonna try, we're doing this stream in 2 parts today. We're gonna just stream for like half an hour to an hour, quickly looking over what we've been doing so far this year on our monthly, or not monthly anymore, our weekly game dev streams. We've been remaking some arenas from Kid Icarus, so we're putting those on pause for a couple weeks to a month to play more Fantasy Life when that comes out this upcoming week in a few days. I'm so excited. But yeah, because we're gonna put that on pause, I wanted to do one more stream, kind of just not even doing a lot of work on it, but playtesting it and highlighting what we've done so far. So we're gonna do that for a bit, and then we're going to rest the stream, hopefully finish up Wanderstop today, which has been emotionally devastating me. But we also get to make tea and now coffee in the game, so I'm very excited. I think quality should be, I think quality's starting to pick back up. So let's keep streaming for the next hour, see if we're good, and if we're good, we'll play Wanderstop. But hi, Fluli. It's been a hell of a week. Yeah, there's been just a lot going on in general, and some very just some very rough stuff going on in general. And then the weather alone, you guys, had a pop-up tornado thing. I was supposed to do the game dev portion of this Thursday night, right? In the middle of the day, without warning, get even though it's clear skies and everything outside, get a tornado watch for the remainder of the evening. So I look at the actual radar, and the weather itself is only supposed to hit us for just half an hour, and I'm like, that doesn't seem too bad. That doesn't seem too bad, right? So I'm like, okay, we're cool, we're chill, we should be fine. The storm hits, and it's not, a tornado didn't hit us, and the thunderstorm itself wasn't bad, but for half an hour there were 60-mile-per-hour winds that were just non-stop, and then they ended in a few seconds. Like, it didn't slowly die down, it just stopped all of a sudden. And it started out of nowhere too, and it knocked the power out completely around like 8 p.m. Thursday night. Which is when I was planning to stream, so I'm like, okay, I'll stream once the power's up. A few hours go by, like it's midnight, and I'm like, I guess we're not streaming tonight. It also jumps up to, the AC is now knocked out as well, and it jumps up to 90 degrees overnight. So we're trying to check on things. We check on like the energy thing, and I look at the region, the entire region I lived in. I've never seen a power outage this big. All got wiped completely down power-wise. Everything, streetlights, emergency buildings, everything was just gone. And they did not have a time estimate, so luckily some stuff started coming up, and the stuff closer to like my parents came up, they ended up not losing power over by them. So yesterday morning, I was like, okay, our fridge is I just did a bunch of groceries, so I'm like, I gotta save what I can out of the fridge. So I took the groceries over and dropped them off at my parents', and I'm like, hopefully power will be on, because I had a hair appointment, and I did get my hair done still. They had power, which was actually really nice because they had AC, so I was happy to go. But yeah, I got it. We toned it, as a side note, we toned it pink instead of just highlighting it pink now, so it's kind of more of a violet, like a cool tone color, instead of, usually around summer I go like rose gold for warmer colors, but wanted to go more of a violet this time, and I'm really digging it. But I got some AC out of that, and then yeah, my partner had texted me like once I got there and already dropped off groceries. It's like, hey, we still don't have power or internet here, like I need to get work done. And then it's jumping in temperature, so like my cat was still at our apartment, so he took my cat and himself went over to the parents' place. Once I was out of hair appointment, power still wasn't on for the apartment, so we just went over and we just all were at parents' place for pretty much all day yesterday. And power out of a miracle, because I think a lot of people still tragically don't have power, and it has cooled down a bit, but there is still some like very like intermittent severe weather going on. So we're very, very lucky that it came on when it did, but it looked like it wasn't going to come on until the end of the weekend. So we were actually just preparing to head back to grab stuff to spend the weekend and for me to grab some like laptop and work stuff when we saw the power had come on yesterday night, like just as we were getting ready to head out. So we're like, okay, we'll stay and have dinner and then we'll just go back home, so we make sure it stays on throughout the next few hours. I've never in my life, I live in like the upper but I live in like the northern part of the Midwest, and I've never ever gotten a severe dust storm warning, and it was like a national weather warning. Like it did the iPhone thing where it comes through on all of your devices like an Amber Alert does, so all of our phones started screaming at the same time, and it said dust storm warning, and literally the warning said this: pull aside, stay alive. I've never had a warning that just said survive, objective survive. So we were a little scared. We were like, what? We've never had this. What does this mean? And we look out the window and there was just a wall of dust off in the horizon. And then when it passed us, it wasn't like as windy as the night before, but everything was just like tinted brown and hazy for like a couple hours. So even though we had power at our apartment, we now couldn't go home for another few hours until that passed. And when we did go home, like half of the lights were out, so we had to drive like really carefully in the dark because some people were just zooming down the road because there's no way for you to tell if there's a light there or not. So in conclusion, I think we're back. Quality of the stream today, I keep getting some errors, so quality might be abysmal today, and I apologize in advance, but I am going to, as long as it's jumping back up at times, I am going to try to do a full stream today, just because if the past few days have taught me anything, it's that you never know when you can and can't stream, and all I know is I can stream today. We do still want to try to go to the beach tomorrow. It's a little cloudy and yucky today, and I imagine there's still debris on the road and stuff, so we're not gonna risk it today, but I would like to just take the day off and relax and do something around town tomorrow, if I do have the energy and availability, and if it seems like staying home would be best tomorrow. I might do a quick morning stream for maybe just a couple hours, and we'll just play something like Inzoi, or we can do another game dev stream. It will just be another chill stream, but we will see what the weather has in store. All I know is I can stream today, and then next week we are starting Fantasy Life on Wednesday morning, and we'll do a Wednesday night stream. And as a reminder, all of our streams from that until the end of May are going to be all Fantasy Life, because I'm really excited for this game. And we will resume our normal game dev evenings, our normal chill stream mornings, and then playing a couple other games on the weekends here and there, but we are going to be locked in on Fantasy Life. But yeah, if you have missed the past 2 streams, we've been playing more Wanderstop, which got... I will do a recap of that when we hop over into that game again, here in an hour, but it got very dark. Essentially our character has some deep-rooted trauma, my goodness, but in addition to that crippling trauma realization, we have learned how to make coffee. in Wanderstop, so things are looking up. Things are looking up, and I think we're getting close to the end of the current chapter we're on, and I think there's one more chapter after that, so I think we can beat Wanderstop today, which I'm excited. But yeah, I see all the warnings on my bitrate just rubber banding all over the place, so my apologies in advance. But yeah, we're just going to quickly do a little bit of play testing here on these maps. This first one here is the one we've been working on most recently, Spiral Tower. For those that don't know, I am a level designer professionally. In the industry, I've been doing level design in general for 5-6 years now, and I've been doing it as full-time work for the past 4 years now. Yep. So yeah, I do have some official credits and all that, but what I like to do on stream, because I'm not gonna break any NDAs, y'all aren't gonna get that out of me, but I do like to do personal work on stream and just kind of sandbox stuff. So right now, our stream project is remaking a few arenas from Kid Icarus Uprising, from their Light Be Dark mode. If you know, you know. But we're remaking them in a little template in Unreal Engine 5 here in their Lyra template, because I'm more of like an environment and a world builder in terms of level design. I've dabbled in, if I know how to use a combat system and a mission system, then I usually handle that on projects as well. But I'm not good at making systems. That's more of a tech designer type of thing. Oh, thank you for the resub, Yoshi-sensei. Much appreciated. Which is very timely, seeing as the top-down for this map looks a lot. We realized it kind of looks. I think it's just the way I shaded it. The shape itself maybe wouldn't look like Yoshi, but the way I shaded it when we did the paper design for this, I was like, we were like, wait a minute, enhance. But yeah, this is where we've gotten to with our blockout stuff. On that, and then the first map we did was Forgotten City, which is a bit more easy to do shape language wise, but I did add additional cover, and last week we did a foliage pass, so it actually looks way prettier. It does not look this pretty foliage wise in the game because there like is none other than a few bushes and a few trees, but I got excited with the foliage pass last week, and I actually like it's regrowing because Nintendo needs to remake the game. But I've also kind of said that jokingly. I've said we're going to keep just slowly adding onto this project. Where I'm not rushing to remake it and get sued by Nintendo or anything, but I've jokingly said we'll just keep working on and off on this until Nintendo remakes or makes a sequel or acknowledges Kid Icarus Uprising in any way. We might be doing this the rest of my life, but it's a fun project, so we'll just play test these maps today, and I do want to take notes on what we want to improve on a month from now when we fully revisit this map. We're gonna do a few one-off streams at the start of June. Like there is, right now we have just a placeholder for the little flag here on the tower. So there is a class simulator thing in Unreal Engine 5 that I haven't really experimented with. So I want to follow a tutorial on that one week, and then there is the dreaded, like, do I do the Blender donut tutorial for fun? Because I haven't used something like that. Like Maya was what I used in college, and I did not use that since my junior year, several years ago now. But yeah, so I have some like one-offs to fill the void, but we'll fully return to these maps. I think we actually want to start blocking out a third map. I forget which one was next on our list, but we're gonna add a third arena to the mix probably a month from now. A dab? There you go, Yoshi. Yeah, something we did that I thought was kind of fun was we did add some little destructible fractured assets. They aren't functional with the grenades yet. I know I've been on projects where we've been able to figure out how to do that in the past, but Lyra's kind of a bitch. I know I've used it professionally, I've used it on portfolio pieces, and we're using it right now. So if you don't want to ever change anything to the way Lyra's set up, it's good. But if you're like, maybe I could just change one health value, or maybe I could just change one thing on this weapon. No, you can't. You cannot. It's going to be I cannot tell you how big of a pain it's about to be. You would think it would be easier since it's a template Unreal designed for open use, but no. It's actually, in terms of like flexibility, it's one of the least flexible templates I've seen. But it is one of the most, like, even if the content's not functional or complete, the amount of content you get gameplay-wise is quite big, so there's pros and cons to every template. But I would like to make this template more melee focused. And to have the grenades work with the destructibles a bit better in the future. That's probably stuff I'd have to start off stream, because whenever I start a scripting thing on stream, I have a bit of a breakdown. Oh, my character's got an arm on them. No ammo. Get the broken playtesty weapon. Eh. Oh, I thought it crashed. I thought the whole map crashed. I was like, oh my god. This map would genuinely work for a really fun capture the flag mode, which they do have something I think I'm complaining about not being able to turn stuff into multi-purpose, right? But I do think they have a zone capture, which I think could basically be, you basically make the zone your area with the flag, right? So I think it can kind of be set up to work similarly. Reload! Girl, reload! Oh! I'm not good at the games I make also. Just in general, that's not a new thing. That's nothing that's impacted. The only way that's impacted my career, thankfully, is gathering, oh, someone blew this up. Maybe there are destructible physics on, because who blew this up? Uh-oh. But yeah, the only way that's really impacted me is, gathering portfolio footage. And being like, oh god, I have to play the game to, like, this point to see my work. Without cheats to get it on, like, the official, like, released stuff, and not from a dev build. It's like, who? Like, I know when I was making my portfolio reel this time last year, I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go back and play the games that I have released and replay those for footage, and then I'll go back and find my older, like, builds of projects, personal work-wise, and grab those for footage. And that took me so many days just because I was so bad. The majority of my portfolio work is arena, like, shooter design, and I'm so bad at them. I love designing for them. and I have so much fun, and I'm able to gather. I do know from playtesting data, a lot of people have fun with my arenas as well, but I am not able to playtest to save my life. So gathering footage was quite the ordeal for a few days. I think it's not even the video editing part of why I don't redo my portfolio reel too often. It's the footage gathering. I'm like, oh, I'd have to make a fool of myself again. The footage we have footage at home. Hiya, love waves. How have you been? I did not mean to jump off that. I don't think that nade hit anybody. Where's my teammate? Hubert, do something! What am I... And what am I supposed to do now? Hubert! Let me let it just simulate and play on its own. Yeah, I don't need to play the game to know what's going on. Let's just watch them. Let me click you. Let me click you. Let me click somebody. They're so squirmy. I think in what? The Outliner, their hero controller? Or hero shooter? Yeah, let me watch. Analyze you. And I'm doing good now. I said at the start of the stream, but kind of had some crazy weather the past few days. But I also got my hair done and tinted to like a pink violet color yesterday, so that's very good. Got to spend a lot of time with family yesterday, so that was fun. The boyfriend, the cat, and I were just having like a chill weekend, which has been very much needed. But yeah, the weather was like a random tornado level event on Thursday. I lost power for like almost 24 hours from Thursday night to Friday evening, but I had no idea when it would come back on. Original estimates were like it could have been the entire weekend. And some people I think are still waiting on power. But yeah, I have not had a power outage that big in this apartment. And I haven't had a power outage like that in a few years, honestly, in general, so that was fun. So we had to, it was also 90 degrees, so we couldn't just sit around in the apartment. We were gonna suffocate, so yeah, we all went over to my parents yesterday to hunker down with them, and as soon as we saw our apartment had power and we could travel back to it, a dust storm warning. Y'all know the Dust Bowl that came with the Great Depression and the pictures of like just the giant wall of dust on the horizon? I saw it. It happened to us. We like looked out the window. It was like an Amber Alert style notification that like was very loudly came up on everyone's phone, and the notification just said like dust storm alert, pull aside, stay alive was what they said, which is terrifying to just get a government notification that's like you need to survive for the next few hours, and that's all the clarification you get. So we dealt with that yesterday, but once it actually passed over, we were able to get back to the apartment, so I did not know if I was going to be able to stream this weekend, but we're here now and we're chilling. It makes me so happy to see the AI navigating through the map properly. I kind of want to add a few more spawn points. Right now we have them set up where they were in the original game. So yeah, there would be a team that would spawn up here, and there would be a team that would spawn over here. But I think I almost want to break it up into where all the spawns are in the free-for-all mode and add them. Because right now you can just shoot across the map at each other, which is not as big of a design flaw as you think. It's not as big of a design flaw as you think. In the original game, because it's really the only ones that can do major long range damage is the sniper, and that takes a while to use anyway, for balance reasons. And then you've got different power-ups to balance things, and it's also very much, I feel, more melee focused, and you can adjust health and stuff. Right now we're just stuck to the constraints of Lyra, which are very long range shooters. So we are gonna have to, I think I do want to eventually adjust the gameplay to better fit the arenas. But that is a note, if you are making an arena with gameplay like this, or with a modern shooter in mind where you can shoot clear across the map, then you need to have more things blocking the way in between. I remember learning that early in the industry for making professional arenas, is like, because no one wants to spawn in and immediately get headshot, right? Sometimes when you're making design decisions for arenas, you have to think, am I putting the player in a situation that's so horrible that they wouldn't want to pick up the game again? Like, you don't want to put them in that situation, similar to like not wanting them being backed into corners or stuff. You want them to get angry because they made a stupid choice, not because you put them in one. Apartment similar to that Interstellar scene where the house is just filled with dust. Actually, that's a good point. I think we left a window open, so I'm glad there wasn't like a bunch of dust in here. But yeah, it was just very hazy. Like, if you've ever had like a really foggy day by your house where you can tell when the fog's in the distance and you can tell when you're in the middle of it and you can't see visibility wise. Like, there was a point where it didn't seem like super windy or something, but I couldn't see past like the house across the street. Like, usually you could see clear out into like there's a field behind it and then there's a road behind that. I couldn't see any of it at one point, and I was like, this might be the dust storm they were talking about. But yeah, I think that weather hit the entire Midwest yesterday and the night before. Like, I think over in Chicago there was a Beyonce concert, and if you've seen the videos from that, that's kind of similar types of weather to what we experienced, with like there was like tornado like weather, and then with that came like rain and flooding and stuff, and then the following day was the dust storm. So yeah, there's a first for everything. We've been joking about, in America, it really is starting to feel like we're headed towards another Great Depression. But I forgot, you know what came with the Great Depression in the history books? The Dust Bowl. It literally came with it. But that's a problem for yesterday. We're home and we're safe now. I don't know how, but yeah, and it was like 90 yesterday. It's 50 today. It's a cloudy day. There's a light breeze out. No rain clouds anywhere in sight. Just like cloudy clouds. It's unbelievable. The weather's just truly, it truly exists. But yeah, this is our Spiral Tower map. I'll hop over into our original one that's recently gotten a foliage pass that I did too much on, honestly. I put too many flowers in a map like this, but we have flowers to place. What was that gonna do? Not place a bunch of flowers everywhere. But I do genuinely love the regrowth that it gives this map. I like that it looks a little different from the original version, which we have up on Miro here. This is what the original map kind of looks like. Then this is what we've been working on over time. I still want to do a lot more decal work on this map to make it look more worn down. I think that's really the only complaint, is now I have the exterior of the map looking how I want it to, but this building right here is like, it's too clean, right? For a forgotten city that's like in dust and debris, it's too clean of a map. Like, the sides of the building in the game are like, they're much dustier and filled with moss and have more like chips out of the wall, so just the destruction pass and decal pass on this entire building I think would be good to do in the future. But we'll play it a bit first. We'll play around and then I'm going to mark some sticky notes on basically what we'd want to touch up on this map over the next month. Both this spiral tower and the Lyra template in general. And then we'll hop over to Wanderstop for the rest of the day. Just take some tea orders. I got a double kill! Let's go! Let's go! But yeah, this is just, keep in mind, I'm not an artist, so this is just me throwing stuff together as a designer, and like, your artwork will shine. You just have to have the solid layout in place first. Like, our layout probably looked pretty boring for a bit. But then you add a little bit of shine on top of it, and all of a sudden, it feels a lot more fun. Who's underneath there? A rageless ASMR stream. That's probably a good one to save for an Elden Ring stream. I've been trying to level grind so much off stream, and I've like, well, I'll be doing well, and then I'll like push myself a little further. I'll be like, let me kill a boss just a little outside of my current range of things. And it'll be frustrating, but I do have to drop in like the gaming share part of like the Discord. I've killed a lot of bosses off stream in Elden Ring. Not any story stuff. I've been just sticking basically to Limgrave, like I said I would for level grinding this next month, but I've been cleaning up. Though I think I did venture a little bit to, what is it, Khaled? And like, I found a tunnel and there's like a little dragon in there, and I was like, oh, I think I could get it. I got it down to 1 HP and it killed me, and I haven't been able to get it past half health since. My brain collapsed and I raged out. So I had to actually put it down for a few days. So I might try it again at the end of the weekend, but currently I'm I would not be capable of doing the rageless stream. Like, that's just the worst for me, I think, right now with Elden Ring, is when I get like so close, but then sometimes it's not even greed that gets me. It's I will try to get away and I get caught on a piece of collision in the environment, and I'm like, I will perish here. Won't do it now. Not on the game dev portion of the stream, no. Push it. Oh no. Ow. Yeah, this map, I'm pretty fond of it since it's the first one we started remaking. Originally I did that because it was a simpler layout so we could get like the flow of how we wanted to remake these maps down, but I don't know, like just adding a few flowers here and there I feel like really brought the vibe of it full circle. Spiral Tower I think we did absolutely make accurately, but that has its pros and its cons with it. Being that the original version of that map, I remember there's not a lot of cover in. I like the changes we did to that to add more debris and destructibles as cover, and to have the water source in that map serve as a hot spring. But yeah, you gotta have in-between cover for shooters like this. And I do remember that map being a bit of a problem. I have fond memories of it just because I like the idea of capturing the flag, even though it's never an objective in that game. But I have fond memories of defending the tower as like the best place to do all that. But I also think back and I remember a lot of times where I would spawn in and be like, oh, I've spawned far away from the tower, I've got to run across the map, and I would just get shot on the way because there is no cover. One more kill and we've got it. Ah! I got him! The bots are really trying. That's how I know the map's working, is when they can actually navigate it without being too incompetent and they're able to kill me. But I'm also able— I think a map like that where I feel like it could go either way, I could win or I could lose, is when I feel like it's a bit more balanced. If it's too easy for me to get them because they're getting stuck on collision, or if it's too easy for them to get me because there's no cover, then I know something needs to change one way or the other. But yeah, I think this map's been shaping up nicely, even though we haven't changed a lot layout-wise, and the layout of this one's pretty simple. Sometimes that's another important thing, is sometimes you don't have to overdo it with the layout. You don't have to be like, oh, well, it's too simple. What if we well, if we added this thing here, and what if we added another tier of gameplay here, and you turn it into like a maze and a labyrinth. Like, if it's in an arena and you're just shooting to see who wins first, like, if it's a simple objective, it doesn't have to be a super complex layout. And even making small changes to it, like, at its core, the layout is still basically this. We revised it to add a bit more cover, and then we revised it to make it like a bit prettier to the eye, and have a bit of a different shape language at this point. But then like these two phases have just been all visuals and making it pretty. It's still the same basic simple layout from the start, just with a little bit more love over time. So yeah, let's see, what things do we want to hydrate? I guess I'll drink the water I have here. But yeah, let's see what things we want to do. So for Forgotten City, I'd like to, like I said, or a decal. Let's do decal, texture, and fracture pass on main building, because we want it to look old. What other things? I would like to have a few maybe like dirt paths. just to break up some of the foliage, because I did kind of go ham and put a lot. And then I think the only other art thing aside from decals, because I think decals and another like pathing pass will do a lot for it. But I do really want to get in the god rays. A business question. I'm definitely not too businessy of a person, unless you count my insane businesses that I run in The Sims 4. But I'm happy to take my best shot at it. Just looking for some advice. I'm happy to lend an ear. I did run a pretty impressive town on Animal Crossing New Leaf though, so my qualifications are up there. Let me see. Spiral Tower, we definitely want to make dynamic flag in UE5. I think I would want to polish the terrain material just a little more. I think I do like how it is right now, but I think it can be tweaked slightly to improve on it. And I think we can do a decal and material pass on the tower too. Because we have a lot of like warped and unmatching materials there. And then general Lyra notes. Just add that down here. So we want to add fracture physics. Can I spell physics? Hello? Add fracture physics to grenade. I think I tried to do this one night and I got too frustrated, so I stopped. But I need to give it another goal once I'm calm and composed. Oh, I do want to do, so this map here doesn't really have a vista, it's kind of in the sky. But this map does have some like slight mountain vistas in the background, so I do want to do like landscape vista pass. So I do want to make that in there at some point. But yeah, adding fracture physics to grenade. This is something I want to maybe do in Blender eventually. So creating the angel tombstones in Blender. So when you die in Kid Icarus Uprising, so the full functionality of this is probably something I'd want to get working long term. So not anytime soon, but I'd like to get the first step out of the way. When you die in the arena mode for Kid Icarus, you despawn and instead a tombstone spawns in your place with a little angel wing on it. So that's what I'd want to make in Blender just to have right now as a cover asset that we could use, especially Spiral Tower. I think maybe turning a portion of it into like a graveyard could be kind of cool. But yeah. The functionality of it is not only does it spawn in on your death, but when it takes enough damage, it explodes in a radius. So a strategy could be to shoot one if you see an enemy running by it, and it would blow them up as well. So the functionality of that would be really cool to have long term, but like I said, Lyra is kind of a pain, so it would almost be better to make that from scratch. But we'd still have to work it into the Lyra damage component. So that's a whole lot of questions for another day. But I would like to, if we are going to model something from Blender eventually, I think that could be a simple enough start. Actually, you can see one of them here in this screenshot. Yeah, you've got the angel wings kind of in the shape of this tombstone there. You have a platform on iOS only and a lightweight version of it on web. You don't have any social media accounts, but you really, really want to market it. But you don't want to run ads on social media such as Instagram. I would say, I think right now I think it is starting to lose steam, just because of all the stuff with the US government and TikTok, but I think short form advertising that is free and is not pushing it too much in people's faces, if that kind of sounds like the vibe you're wanting, is to make clips of stuff and then to put those clips on TikTok. So not necessarily making ads for TikTok, not necessarily making videos that are like, hi guys, this is my ad for my product, but just like whatever's the pull to your like to your business, right? Whatever the pull is, like just kind of take clips that convey that and just kind of post them on like it could apply not only to TikTok, but it could apply to any social media thing, like Instagram's clips or Instagram threads, I think, or if you don't want to use like something like Twitter, I know Blue Sky is the good alternative for that. So it doesn't have to be if you do have a social media platform of choice, I would just recommend out of the available social media platforms doing something with short form content in mind, so boosting things like shorter clip videos rather than like Twitch and YouTube is what I use the most because it's a bit longer form. Like we're gonna stream for a few hours today, so that's very long form content. And then some people think of like people yapping on TikTok or like YouTube and like Instagram and Twitter, like that can be kind of more medium form content, but specifically I think the clips area can do a lot for advertising. I think my partner and I watched when was that? I think it was when I just moved into the apartment, but I remember we watched a talk about like how to market games, like indie games, when there's so much advertising going on. And yeah, I think that was their advice too, was like not telling people, hey, you should buy my game for XY reasons, but like just posting gameplay clips to stuff like TikTok and YouTube, and like really short bits that people will then like watch, and then they'll comment like, oh my gosh, what is this? I'm interested in this, like it caught my attention. And then you have a whole page of stuff and you have like links in the description for them to know more if it catches their attention. People have very short attention spans nowadays, so the shorter and the more to the point you can get something that people will resonate, then I think the higher rate of success you'll have. That's also how streamers like Queso took off, is because they were just posting. I think Case has even said like part of how he's got successful is he didn't even start streaming at first. He actually, like a few months before that, was just recording, and I guess kind of people call it clip farming now, as like a negative term for it, but it's a smart idea, just recording content and just clipping the best and like funniest parts of that if you're a streamer, and then posting those online, and people see it and they're like, hey, this guy's pretty funny. And then he went live one day and he already had an audience established because people had seen the best bits of his content. So yeah, I think now in short, I think short clip content to social media is probably the best way to do marketing nowadays, especially if it's like aesthetic and vibes that you're going for. Because yeah, it doesn't have to be to you don't have to run ads right from the start, and it doesn't have to be to everyone, as long as you know what your audience is. It's better to have a audience you want to get their attention rather than just being like, oh, I want to advertise it to just anybody. It's sometimes good to have that narrower target that you want to reach. So yeah, that's my spiel on it. It's just kind of like the mindset you have with the portfolio too, is like condensed down to your best work, and then you don't have to necessarily shove it in everyone's face, but just like keep promoting it in small ways over time, so then when people see it, they'll see your history of promoting it as well, and you get all that advertising will pay off over time. Yeah, let's see. Angel Tombstones, Fracture Physics, Melee up, Long Range down, Increased health components. Yeah, I think that's kind of all I would want to do in Lyra right now. Definitely want to do more in the future, but leave that there. I think especially for just picking at things over the next month, I feel like part of me is like, I can take more notes than this, but can I hit more notes than this? Probably not, so I'm gonna leave this here for our notes right now. You would need to, that's the thing, is you are going to probably have to make an account of some sort for your stuff. But yeah, I don't recommend making, especially if you want to do like some business advertising. You don't have to get super invested in it and fall down the TikTok rabbit hole, right? You don't have to be super social media heavy with your personal life or anything, so you don't have to make a personal account. But you can make an account and just use it for only promoting your stuff. And just kind of showing off the highlights of it, and then like what I'm doing right now with the video essay stuff I'm doing on YouTube is I check in on it, maybe like I try to do it like maybe once a day or once every few days, so you're not getting like sucked up into the social media aspect of it. But yeah, if you want to do advertising without like paying like some sort of like social price or some sort of like cash price, then the price is kind of social media basically, is you probably do need to set up something. But yeah, I would recommend for sanity and just professionalism as well, just set up an account of some sort and just keep it for that stuff, and don't check on it, don't obsess over checking on it. Check in on it frequently, but yeah, no reason to obsess over social media. I actually need to set a timer for how much I use like TikTok, because I found myself just doom scrolling it. Every time I open the comments, I'm like, this is the worst of humanity I've ever seen, and then I'll scroll to the next video and I'll be like, never mind, this is the new worst. So it's definitely healthy not to get sucked up into it, but the pull short form content has for like free advertising, it definitely can't be denied either. But that's all I know about it. If I ever come across any like great knowledge that I'm like, whoa, this changed my life, I will be sure to share it with you all also. But that's currently my understanding of everything. But yeah, folks, I think this right here, I just wanted to keep it for an hour for this quick, like, kind of game dev check-in. But we will resume those weekly game dev streams that I do Thursday evenings. We will resume those in June. And then we will probably do a few one-off things where we won't necessarily be focused on level design, but like one of them might be, yeah, making a dynamic flag using Unreal Engine 5's tools, doing the Blender donut tutorial. Or maybe like we might switch it up completely and be like, I just want to have a general creative stream, I'm doing some video editing. So we'll do a few one-off kind of streams throughout the start of June, but then yeah, when we do once we kind of have more of a breather, I do want to, by the end of June, start doing level design work on a third arena to remake. So yeah, this project isn't going anywhere because Nintendo's probably not remaking it anytime soon. But I do really want to play Fantasy Life the next 2 weeks, so all of our streams will be focused on that from next Wednesday until the end of the month. So yeah, let me go ahead and close that.